YouTube channel. So basically today I'm just going to be talking about conduit and the if it's basically hard for some people. As you come in, you can bless Gaza Uncle. I'm just driving home, so I decided to shoot a live. I didn't see you go live today, so earlier in the night time. So electrical conduit is it's not something that everyone will learn. It's pretty difficult to master electrical conduit. EMT and rigid is some of the hardest pipe to bend. We often use tools to bend our pipes, EMT and rigid. EMT mostly we use from ½ inch to up to 1.5 inches. We'll use a conduit bender, and anything above that 2 inch we'll use the machine to bend EMT conduit. I think EMT conduit conduit can be learned. There's a lot of tricks. There's a lot of tricks to the trade that no one will show you unless you play around with the bending pipe. But a lot of people, a lot of companies don't have time for you. If you don't know how to bend it, then you're pretty much not gonna get that time to bend that conduit, because conduit is pretty expensive. And when it comes to bending pipe, depending on
the speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour.
The different style of pipe, you can basically damage that pipe if you don't know how to bend it. By simply nicking that pipe will cause you to damage the pipe, and you will have to somehow, I mean, if you're good at bending pipe and you nick that pipe, you can obviously take that nick out. I remember lots of times, as you guys come in, you can hit the like, share and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date to the content. Who is this? As I was saying, conduit, I remember when I started bending
the
conduit.
The speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour.
I used to try to figure out any little thing I can do to make my job easier. I used to try to master the bending of the conduit, and I did it for many years as an apprentice by simply, there is something called a conduit bend book that you can follow. But of course, if you don't have the techniques to bend the conduit, or if you were never taught how to bend conduit, then that book is pretty much useless to you. You can try to figure it out all day long, but you need the practice and the experience to be able to bend the conduit without wasting your material and getting the foreman upset pretty much that you've basically wasted, think about it, 10 lengths of pipe,
The speed limit is
and you weren't able to perform one single bend on that, but yet still you've wasted all of that pipe. So it can become frustrated. But for me, it was, nevertheless, I figured it out, and I knew how to maneuver with it. I knew how to use the bender. I knew certain tricks of the trade that, of course, I was taught, but certain tricks I learned along the way while I was bending my conduit. I used to practice, and I will try to figure out and do different bends in that conduit. And once I got it, then I knew it was okay. But it wasn't until if you guys want to leave a comment in the comment section as you come in, you can hit the like, share, and subscribe button. As like I said, I'm just driving, so I decide to try out the live on a Sunday. Well, it's now Monday morning, so I decide to so it's EMT conduit. So basically, guys or uncle, if you look back at one of my videos, you'll see that there's a pipe above the roof, but that pipe is called rigid conduit, and then there's EMT conduit. So there's two differences in conduit. There's also PVC conduit. It's basically pipe that you will run in mostly commercial buildings. We will use the pipe work, industrial, pipe. So it's basically conduit that you will use to pull maybe, like, depending on the size of the cable, you can pull in maybe up to 15 sets of wires in that conduit. So it's basically another way of getting your wires over to their destination. So we call it EMT conduit, or PVC conduit, or it's called rigid conduit, which you will use on the in wet location above is rigid conduit. And so basically these pipes, EMT basically is, you use them. You have to also make offsets. You have to also make 90s. Maybe one of these days I believe I sent a video with one commercial job I was doing. It could be my last 3 shorts or 3 videos that I put out, you'll see the conduit that I used inside the commercial building. So that's basically what it is. Up the Raja Chow. So yeah, guys, uncle. So conduit is basically what we use to get over to a destination when we want to pull cable in. It's a very unique process of it, meaning that, like I was saying, not everyone knows how to, bend conduit. They never had that. They were never blessed with learning how to, bend conduit, because the way it works is if you start to bend conduit and you basically, start to damage that conduit in the terms of nicking it, you've basically ruined that conduit. So you're going to be looking at, someone who can't really bend conduit. So for me, it was very easy, because I was pretty much determined, and I learned the simple bends and stuff like that. But however, when I thought I knew how to bend conduit, I was pretty much exposed, by another couple of fellow journeymen who, showed me the proper way to really bend conduit. I mean, there's offsets. An offset is simply a bend that you would use to get over an obstacle. There's saddles. Saddles are stuff that it's like a half of a circle. You'll use those to get over beams, stuff like that. And when you're working in industrial and commercial, because there's so many obstacles in the way. When we get into bending pipe and obstacles, that's when you will start to see the beauty of the pipe work, when you start to bend your offsets and your saddles and stuff, because you're now trying to get around obstacles that normal people wouldn't really know how to get around. So I knew how to bend conduit, but like I said, I was pretty much taught by other fellow journeymen, not just how to do my offsets, but the proper way of doing the offsets, which I really didn't have no regrets about it, because it made me a better person when it came to bending conduit. But like I said, conduit is very expensive, and you can pretty much damage that pipe. So there's a lot of people out there, who haven't had that opportunity to bend the conduit. So for us in commercial or everyday life, surrounds around electrical conduit. When we get into residential, we don't really use the conduit unless we use the PVC, which is rated for underground. And if you go back to my service my service job I did last week, you'll see the guys using the PVC pipe, which is DB2 for underground. It's used. That's another term of conduit. It's used for underground. So yeah, so basically EMT pipe is pretty.
The speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour.
It's pretty simple to you know, to use. You just have to learn it or be taught by someone with a lot of experience. Of course, came across a lot of guys on the job site who knows how to bend conduit and who've done it all their life. So basically the key to learning conduit is finding someone who has been in the trade for, you know, a long period of time. And it also comes with your measurements. You have to be spot on with your measurements, because again, if you're bending pipe and your measurements are off, then that pipe's not going to fit where you want it to go with the offsets that you use. And normally when you're bending pipe, a lot of guys will cut their pipe short or do whatever they have to do to make it work. Me personally, I don't like to do that. I like to make sure that my pipe is the full length of pipe I'm using, and I'm going to be you know, using the majority of that pipe, because it's not good to waste the pipe. Also, when when you're bending conduit, you can pretty much let's say you're doing about 3 to 4 runs of pipe at the same time. Well, you can basically set up those 3 lengths of pipe and keep going all at the same time. But also you have to also remember that you need to strap down the conduit. Also, you cannot leave it loose. So everything has to match up when it comes to running conduit, when it comes to strapping your conduit, when it comes to the distance between each conduit. It makes the pipe work looks better. If you're doing a couple of 90s on the same, if you're doing let's say you have 3 lengths of pipes and you're doing 3 90s, then everything has to match up. Also, there's also stuff, in our term we call it a kick, where if we have to get off the wall with a 90, we will kick that pipe. It's just a trade term that I'm using, but it's simply a 90 with a bend before the 90, where you will kick that pipe down onto the existing wall that you need to get, and it will become flush with that wall, so you can continue your conduit. Also, when it comes to bending conduit, some guys will roll the pipe. There's many different things you can do with conduit bending, but the most important thing is not to waste that pipe, because it's pretty pricey, and obviously it's material. Now when it comes to bending 2-inch pipe and 2 1/4 and 3-inch pipe, and that we use a something called a machine to bend that pipe. And what we'll basically do is we will take our measurements and we'll bend that pipe according to our measurements. But that machine is not always sometimes the proper. If the machine is old, wear and tear, from what I learned when I started using the machine a couple of years ago, it used to kink on me, and obviously I was taught that I had to use something to jam to avoid the kinking of the pipe. So when it comes to bending the conduit, you have to pretty much learn from someone who has learned or who knows the trade pretty much, or who has bent a lot of conduit, who's pretty much experienced in it, to really show you what you need to know.
The speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour.
I mean, you can learn in trade school while doing your apprenticeship, but I think being exposed to conduit is better to be exposed on the job site than in school, because obviously you're going to come across a lot of obstacles and stuff like that. Obviously some people might be a little bit nervous when it comes to conduit. I remember the first time I started bending conduit, I wasn't really
The speed limit
that
is
great,
70 kilometers per hour.
but I figured it out eventually. And me, of course, you have to find what works for you. So what worked for me back then was I used to take the bender and I would flip it the other way, and it was pretty. For me, everything is about saving on my energy and not trying to hurt myself. So if I had certain pipes, if it was 1/2 inch or 3/4 or 1 inch, which is not that big of a deal, I will flip the pipe. I will flip the EMT in the other direction, which is the bender, with the shoe. Who's not really familiar with it, you can Google EMT bender is called, and you will see what I'm talking about. You will see where it will show you the it's basically it's a length of with
The
a
speed
shoe,
limit is 70 kilometers per hour.
and you're supposed to be standing on that shoe on the floor. I used to flip it the other way to bend my pipe, where I would have more control of my bending, and where I can now control the bending of my pipe instead of putting it on the floor and bending my pipe where you cannot see the mark, or you have to keep looking at it. But obviously once you start to bend a lot of conduit, the more conduit you bend, the more you get accustomed to how, what you need to bend it, what height you need to bend it. It's pretty much simple once you figure it out. But when I started off, like I said, I used to flip that pipe, that bender the other way, and bend my conduit. Now when it came to 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, which is a lot more stronger, I used to have that shoe actually on the ground where my body will control the bending, and not my wrist and my hand, because the conduit was much heavier. So it's just stuff
The speed limit is 70 kilometers per hour.
It's just stuff that I've learned along the way of bending conduit. The tricks to the trade that I learned, where no one really taught me, but I had to pretty much learn on my own. So again, for all those out there who's trying to, bend conduit, there are tricks that you learn. You just have to play around with the bender. You can always take a scrap pipe. You don't have to use the. If you're now starting out, I suggest that you take a scrap pipe and you try a couple bends here and there before you get into bending your conduit. Obviously you're not going to learn unless you get that chance, and sometimes the luck might be with you. You might happen to get the chance on a big job or on a small job. Me personally, I think it's better to learn on a smaller job, because you have more time to play around with the conduit, and you have more time.
The speed limit is 70 kilometers per hour.
You have more time to play around with your bends, instead of when you get onto a bigger job site where they're going full force. You're not really going to learn as quick as you want to. It'll take you more time to learn, because there will be a lot more people on that job that knows how to bend conduit. So again, there's a book for conduit bending, but I try not to follow that too much, because it for me, when I started out, it messes with your head, as I said, because you don't have the experience, and it's really the experience that you need on the job to be able to bend the conduit. So like I say, conduit is they come in different types. Like I said, there's EMT, there's rigid, where you have to use a tread machine to pretty much tread the end of the pipe. So that's threaded pipe. And then there's PVC, which you would have seen in one of my videos. I basically use that PVC for underground wet location. But when the service pipe that you saw during my video last week, that's for service entrance. So that's what they use for service entrance. So it's a big difference. And like I said, PVC, EMT, rigid, it doesn't matter. I've done it all. It's something that I love to do, especially when it comes to EMT pipe. You can, do a whole lot with the bending, and you can really showcase your work when it comes to the EMT pipe, because it's out there in the open. People can see your work and see what you can do. So basically, that's what PVC. Sorry. So basically, that's what I was trying to read your comment, guys, Uncle. I'm not sure if you're still there, but you said without. Yeah, so EMT is pretty much, something that I've always loved to do, and it's something that I never really shied away from. So, there's many people out there who haven't seen EMT pipe in their life, but they do work in the trade, but they haven't gotten the opportunity to touch it, because most companies, they don't believe in wasting material. So that's what it basically all boils down to. If you cannot bend conduit, then what's the sense of you wasting that material, right? So that's what it all boils down to. So, unfortunately, we're not all going to be able to bend conduit, but if you do get that chance, then you should take it, right? You should take it when it comes to bending pipe. You should take it when it comes to bending pipe. Yes, learning something every day. Yes, guys, are uncle. For me, it's like I said before, it's a lot of knowledge that I have. It's only because that I do residential that I don't get to showcase. So it's only because I do residential that I don't get to showcase a lot of the talent that I've done over the years, but it still doesn't, take away the knowledge that I still have in my brains, because you don't forget what you've learned over the years. It's just like, for instance, Vice Cartel, he sends a lot. He's got a lot of music. I'm sure he's not going to forget about his songs. So it's the same thing with me. I know how to do a whole lot, and we don't forget stuff. It's just there. If we wind up on a job where we need to, where we need to do that job that we haven't done in numerous years, It's not like we forgot about it. It's still there in the back of our brains. It just has to, we just have to trigger it, pretty much. We trigger that brain, and it all comes together. But for someone who hasn't done it, it's very hard. For instance, the conduit on the ground that you'll see in my one video. Well, that conduit, there's something called is a heat gun, or there's a heat machine that you can actually bend those the PVC with. So you basically have to heat up the underground PVC in order to do your bends and your offsets and stuff like that. So it's basically just like the EMT, but with the EMT I'm using a bender, or you can prefab, or you can buy your bends and stuff like that. But why buy bends when you can simply bend it yourself? It's less money that you have to spend if you know the bend pipe. So it's the same thing with the conduit, the PVC conduit in the floor that I ran at the one job where I'm working at. If I need to do offsets, and if I need to do 90s and all different type of stuff, all I simply require is a heat gun to bend that pipe. So it's everything, it comes back to the proper machine and the proper equipment to use to do the job. So like I said, it's a whole lot of knowledge that I come with. If I don't know it, I would research it. But most of the time, like I say, a lot of stuff, a lot of conduit bending is nothing familiar for me. It's stuff that I've done in the past. It's just about not ruining the material and costing, the company or the client more money because you don't know how to really bend the pipe, right? So, like I said, when it comes to me, it's a pretty much different ball game. The knowledge is endless, and yeah. So, like I said, I was hoping that people would come into the chat and talk about orientation lock, rotate device back. Oh, sorry, I had it locked. As you come in, you can like, share, and subscribe. Who's this time limit is the most high and unstoppable tool. Yes, amen, more mission. Rising, karma, rest in peace. Okay. Tabla more, Tana more is the most high and unstoppable tool. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but whatever. Yeah, so like I said, it's something new to learn every day when it comes to my channel. It's versatile. I don't just teach about one thing. I'm pretty much versatile in what I talk about, and I've done it all. So, and what I haven't done, I'll figure out what to do it by doing research. So that's basically what it is about EMT. I was hoping that I would have had some people to talk about their experience. Okay, you're still here, guys, uncle. Okay. I was hoping I would have had some people to, come into the chat and talk about their experience with EMT. Obviously, I couldn't really watch the phone because I was driving, and I don't really like to mess around with the driving and watching the phone. So I decided just to do a quick live. I was going to do a quick live, but obviously it ended up taking me until I reach home. Um, but I was hoping other people would have came into the chat. It's the first time I'm really going live around 1 o'clock. I just wanted to see the difference between the morning, the afternoon, and the late night, which I don't normally do. I wanted to see what would be the difference in the lives. But it seems to me that it probably doesn't really matter when you go live. I'm not sure. Probably just depends on your content and what you're putting out there. Of course, there could be, and also to all my subscribers who are out there, or sorry, not my subscribers and the people who are watching. I do know that I get a lot of non-subscribers who do watch my videos. You guys can subscribe to the channel, stay up to date on my content, and hit the notification to leave it all on. The algorithm hadn't picked up yet. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. I'm not really too familiar with this algorithm stuff, so I'm still learning about this algorithm stuff. I keep hearing people talk about it. I know some of my videos they will stop at a certain amount, so I don't really know how the algorithm works. That's why I keep doing the videos and doing the live streams to see when it will kick in. But so far, nothing has really, my video goes and they'll stop at a certain amount, so that's pretty much it. But obviously, it also depends, I guess, on the amount of people that you have watching. Your video pick up after. Okay. Well, as you say, it takes time. So I'm not really in a rush. I have lots of time. I will just keep putting out the content. I know the content is pretty good, and I know what I'm talking about, so it's not a problem for me. So I'll just keep putting out the content. I only decide to do the conduit tonight because I wanted to see something with the algorithm, because I do have one video that is doing good, and it was about the conduit. So I wanted to see what would happen with the if I talk about the conduit tonight. So it's the first time I'm actually really talking about EMT conduit and other stuff. I wanted to see if it will probably, I would have more people that will come into the live and chat up, but obviously it didn't happen. So yes, no problem. So obviously it didn't happen. So I still decided to give it a try anyways, because I was driving. So I said, okay, you know what, I'll try the live, see how it goes. I'll talk about the conduit stuff and see if anyone wants to call in and chat it up, or even come into the messaging center, the messaging message up. But it was, nevertheless, it was just a good life for me because I'm getting to put out my content, and people will soon start to hear about my content, and eventually it will pick up. So like I said, it was just a quick live. It ended up being about 45 minutes. So it was just a live again for people who maybe didn't tune in, or who just tuning in. It was just about the EMT bending conduit. So that's it for my life pretty much. And I just want to give a shout out to Gaza Uncle for tuning in. He's basically always here when I turn my life on. And a shout out to the Raja Chow for tuning into my live. And I also want to give a shout out to Trill. Hold it down. See you soon. Time's around the corner. And for all of those who are out there listening, you can subscribe to my channel. Turn your notification on to all, and you can also leave a comment in the comment section, and I will see you guys on the next live. Good night, and see you guys on the next live.